The Oklahoma City Thunder are the NBA champions for the 2025 season. They win behind SGA's 29 points and 12 assists, netting himself the Finals MVP, joining Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the only players to win the MVP, scoring champion, and the NBA championship in one season. Taking into account Tyrese Halliburton's unfortunate Achilles tear early in the first quarter, Omar, what do you think about this championship and how it will stand the test of time?
Okay, here's the issue with championships. If you try to deride them because the winning team played against a team that got injured, most championships are Mickey Mouse. That's just the reality of it. For example, in this very run, why is no one talking about that OKC played Game 7 versus Denver where Aaron Gordon had to play it through a hamstring strain? Now, they ended up losing that game, and Aaron Gordon had a pretty good game, so maybe that's why no one wanted to mention it. But you don't think that's affecting Denver's mental to know their second or third best player has an injury that he has to play through? Mm-hmm. You can point to pretty much any championship and look that they played against. For example, Indiana Pacers, to even get here, they played against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. There was games where only D. Mitch was like, it was one good player and then a bunch of scrubs and bench players. So no one's taking that. I mean, people were putting that on the Indiana Pacers, but now that we're in Game 7, no one wants to talk about that. That's just how championships go. That is why they're a lot about luck. Even if you are the best team, you have to not get injured, like what happened to the Celtics with Tatum. And if you aren't the best team, sometimes you'll win anyways because it's only a 7-game sample size in any one matchup. So for me, OKC is a legitimate champion. There's no issue about that. No, nothing for me. I will say, though, there's no way you can consider this OKC team to be a legendary generational type of team that their regular season record suggests they are. 68 wins, 67 wins, the highest net rating differential in NBA history. Yep. These are some metrics that would make you think, okay, so we're seeing the Warriors, we're seeing the Bulls, we're seeing
a new dynasty.
Exactly. I am not at all convinced of that. Went to Game 7 multiple times, never really looked resilient to me. When they're winning, they win big. That's what helps the net ratings. That's what makes them look good and models. And in the regular season, that's pretty relevant. But in the playoffs, I really think clutch win probability added. Like, how good are you in the fourth quarter? I didn't see a lot of that from OKC. Not to mention, it is a bit of an asterisk for me on the players of people like Lou Dort. You're not playing defense out there. You just have a reputation, so you're getting to do what you want. Cason Wallace holding TJ McConnell's arm like he's this girl or something, and they're in a domestic violence dispute.
Crazy.
Like, the ref just looking at him, too, like, yeah, just hold him right there so you can steal that ball.
So
like,
you agree with the sentiment the reffing was one-sided?
I'm not saying one-sided because I'm not, as someone who's rooting for Indiana, I wasn't looking to see where they were getting away with it. Mm-hmm. But I think on those players, it will be remembered like, okay, yeah, Lou Dort locked out, but we all remember he was playing football. For example, Alex Caruso, I can't think of many moments like that. I'm sure he had some.
Because people say he is right there with Lou Dort. Their opinion of Alex Caruso has fallen because they believe he got away with hacking.
So everyone's view on every player is going to be different based on how much of the games you watch, what you really focus on, and what you may have missed. But for me, Cason Wallace, I remember one or two, but he did have 3 steals in this Game 7, so credit to him. Lou Dort, definitely, I've always disrespected him the most. I've never thought he's that good at defense.
I mean, Luka gave him that work last season. For me, that kind of told me everything. The torture chamber is his own brain.
Exactly.
It's a prison of his own making.
But for the actual championship, no. I do think Shea, what you were saying, his stats, like 12 assists and whatever points. How many shots did he have? What was his efficiency?
You can check that on ESPN.
And what about J-Dub?
Hey, I've been low on J-Dub.
Yeah, and I'm a J-Dub fan, but
so I've been a J-Dub hater. So for me, that was expected. And so I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, your turn. Talk about it, man.
So I'm in the similar boat where I don't think this ring is fraudulent at all. It is unfortunate that Halliburton got injured so early, and he was 3 or 4 from 3. It could have been absolutely a legacy game.
You thinking the Pacers winning?
No, I think the Thunder still win. I think it would be a close game, but I think the Thunder still win. Because ultimately, I said this from the start, I'm not just a bitter Knicks fan, okay? Contrary to popular belief. I just don't think the Pacers are that good. And like I said, the come up is real, but so is the come down. And it's unfortunate it manifested as a Halliburton injury. I didn't want it to be that way. But I truly believe that these players are not that good. Shout out to Halliburton. We saw what the Pacers look like when TJ McConnell is your captain. I am the captain now. And it was terrible. We really saw the importance of having a point guard who can take care of the ball and not turn it over. See how important that is to a team. But let's not get this twisted. That is a great skill to have. all love to Halliburton, but the way these role players were playing, what Siakam did, what Miles Turner did against the Cavs, these role players played out of their minds, and that's the only reason they got to the finals, and that's the only reason they went to 7 games. So I think absolutely the better team won at the end of the day. So, that it is what it is. It's how the cookie crumbles. But I'm just glad.
I disagree with you.
I'm just glad we can get to that point. Don't worry. So I'm just glad the better team won. I'm glad that it was kind of like a 2022 Miami Heat situation. There is better than that team, no doubt. But I think a lot of luck, a lot of variance came the Pacers' way, and it's played a lot better basketball than they played for the last 82 games in the regular season. And the final point I need to bring up is the refereeing. I am so irritated by people complaining about the officiating. These people are never happy. You want to know why? Because right now the narrative, oh no, the Thunder, they're beating up on them. This is domestic violence. The refs aren't stopping anything. Okay, wait. What was the narrative last year and the year before that? Bro, the NBA is soft, bro. Some pussy. They don't even let them play defense.
Facts.
So
That's
what do you
facts.
want? Do you want them to play defense and go hard?
Yep.
You can't have it both ways.
The thing is, you need consistency.
Exactly. There isn't consistency, but at least they're trying stuff.
Yeah.
People are deriding Adam Silver like David Stern with some gift from God. Come on, bro. Get out of my face without bull junk, okay?
Yeah.
Like, the Adam Silver hate, overrated.
Yep.
The NBA product is not that bad. Y'all just looking for a thing to hate.
Yep.
The refereeing, okay? You can't have it. It's just people want to fit their narrative. You know, like the Thunder, they're like, damn, bro, the Thunder are getting away with fouls. Y'all, if y'all actually watch basketball, you know what they call playoff basketball?
Yeah.
Shit gets physical. The defense gets harder than the regular season, and that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who wanted to be a hooper, like, when you watch the playoffs, like, dang, they're getting away with a lot of stuff. But that's been happening for years.
Yeah.
The Thunder aren't the first team to get away with slapping dudes' hands or committing fouls. Honestly, y'all boy Kobe, y'all love writing him. He literally talking about he would study the refs so he could get away with fouling. So when Kobe does it, he's a basketball maestro.
Yeah.
But when Lou Dort gets away with it, he's a bum. Now, he is a bum, but not because of the refereeing calls. And then the SGA flopping, people will beat that topic to death, but we already know he's just a fantastic driver. He's going to get contact. Almost every great you've grown up watching got 10-plus free throws.
Yeah.
So that's just the way the game goes. So you're only complaining because y'all don't like the Thunder. Probably a lot of old heads don't like that Gen Z culture and just their aura, honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You ended out with a good take.
Yeah.
I respect that take. But
The Pacers thing.
the Pacers take, dude, like, that's so ridiculous what you're saying. Like, oh, man, they got luck. They're in Game 7. What are you talking about? Like, you can't be
that's
so lucky.
variance. That's why I'm saying they're better than just luck, but they're still playing better than who they are.
Sure, but who's to say that wouldn't continue? Like, why would that have to end in Game 7? And your argument of, like, Miles Turner versus the Cavs, I agree with the players you're pinpointing, but Tyrese Halliburton was the engine for that team. That's exactly why I think they could have done it today. TJ McConnell takes over in the first quarter, like you said. Remember, he didn't take over for, like, the first 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
In about 7 minutes of playing time, he has 3 turnovers.
No, absolutely. That's what
and
I'm saying.
Indiana was leading. So, and then remember late in the fourth quarter, they cut the lead down to 4, and then they ended up benching Siakam, and that was a whole thing if you want to get into that. But to me, with how close this game was, how strong Halliburton came out, he had the most threes made in this game. Do you realize that? In 9 minutes, he made the most threes. Now, could he have fallen off for the rest of the game? Sure, that can always happen. But I just feel like everything was lining up for him. Like, this is his moment. He's on record. I've never won in my life. I've never been a winner. This is all I want. It really felt like he was going for a legacy game, and that was going to put him as one of the greatest point guards of all time, even if not the best. Just the legacy of it all. And then it gets snatched away from them, the emotional impact it has on them. Before the game started, I thought, OKC, the spread's like 7.5, 6.5. You're probably going to win. But after you watch the first 9 minutes, you watch how Halliburton coming out there calling the Trent from Book It with Trent guy.
Some Twitter bomb. Yeah,
exactly. He's calling him what he's calling him.
He's coming out of blood. I respect that.
And remember, there's an OKC, right? So it's an away game. He's just feeling so confident. I feel like at that point, now I'm thinking, okay, it's a 50-50 game, bro. Anyone can win it.
It was going to be close, no doubt.
Yeah, and then he goes out, but that doesn't. You don't get to delegitimize OKC's win because of that, though. Like, oh man, I'm just trying to think of a game where a player got hurt. Like when Miami beat the Bucks. Remember when Giannis had missed like 2 or 3 games?
Yeah,
this was in their 2022 run.
He was back.
They made it to the finals. Like, that's the thing. You don't get to delegitimize anything just because some things went their way. No. That's usually how it has to go for you to make it. And like I mentioned, the Pacers got a bunch of good breaks this year to even make it here. And I do want to say one last thing. You said that this is better than the Pacers have been playing for the last 82 games. I obviously think they did overperform expectations,
Yeah.
but it's important to remember, I think I saw their last 20 or 30 games, they were tied for the best record in the East. So this wasn't something that just came out of nowhere like it did with Miami in 2022 where
They skirted into the play-in, I believe, or
Exactly.
8th seed.
Indiana were like 6th seed and played into the 4th seed and had strong records for about a 2-month period or something. So I do think there's something to be said for I am now more of a believer in this team and these players compared to the Miami team where I was telling everybody, like, don't trade for Gabe Vincent. The Lakers are stupid. Like, this is all fake. I don't see that with Indiana. They made a trade to get a pick back for this year, I think. But with Halliburton injured, man, a big thing that people are not talking about, his game is predicated on speed. Everyone wants to talk about his IQ, but he's one of the fastest guards in the league. This Achilles tear, it's definitely gonna permanently alter his career. I think it might end up being a Paul George situation where it's like he could have been one of the greats, and now he's gonna end up having a good career. Like, you know, it's nothing wrong with what I think he's gonna end up having, but he just left something on the table. But I respect it. Because for him, it's like, well, how many Game 7s am I going to get to in the finals? Like, if I get this chip, you'll automatically pass PG's career. You had to try. And he just couldn't get it, man.
You mean Reggie Miller?
Huh?
I mean Reggie Miller.
What do you mean?
He would have been better than Reggie Miller, too.
Well, yeah,
The
sure.
Pacers
But
got-
I was just talking about the PG context of, like, the greatness of winning a Game 7 NBA Finals.
Yeah.
How many players get to put that on their resume? The last one was LeBron and Kyrie.
Yep.
And we still talk about it to this day.
Yep. All right, I think that brings it close to another segment of the 50-50 show. Let us know what you guys think about the OKC chip. What do you think about the refereeing, the Pacers? Were they really that good? Talk to us.